Hi, my name is Anna Trogland. Today we're going to draw a picture of a chimpanzee using chalk pastels and Conte crayon. We're going to start today with the lightest color we can find in this picture, which would be here, or in the hands. And we're going to make a rough sketch to start with. So what we need is to just go in for the big shapes, no details, nothing fancy, just to figure out the composition of the page. Notice I'm not pausing on any one detail. I'm just getting the shape. You also can see it's very hard to see this because it's so light. That's what we want. We want a sketch that's very light. There's the eyes, and up here is the dome of the head, and here's the ear. You can see this is not going to be a super colorful picture because it's basically an animal that's all one color. But we are going to make this picture look awesome. All right, so we've got the general shapes in. So now it's time to go in with something a little darker, just a little darker. Let's go with this nice bluish gray here. Again, we're just focusing on the big shapes at this point. Never start with the details because then you don't know where your picture is going to sit on the page and you might not be able to get the actual whole image that you want. Notice these eyes are on a very slight slant. So we're going to do that over here too. We're going to put them on a very slight slant. And here's the area between the eyes and around here and up like this. There's more area around the eyes. There's a lot of activity in a linear sense around where these eyes are. Oh, that eye is over a little more than we thought. Now, here's the nose. Again, we're going to come in and hit it very light. This is just the beginning. Don't worry if your picture doesn't look super accurate. If you wanted a really accurate, easy picture, you would take a camera. And we're not going to do that right now. And here are the hands. The hand is very important in this picture because this chimpanzee's hands look very human in so many ways. You can really see the connection between the chimpanzee and the human being. There's the jawline, and now over here, and then around here because his hand is coming across the top of his other arm, which we see here coming around. It's a very circular sort of composition. So we've got these basics down here now. I think the right thing to do is going to be the scary thing to do, to hit the black as soon as possible. Let's make the fingers a little more prominent here though in our sketch. We're using the same light color that we see in the picture. There we go, 4 fingers. We know the thumb is tucked away. And like this, here's the mouth, there's the hand. Oh, don't put your hand too close to your mouth, you might get yourself sick. Okay, and like that, up and around. We're getting there. It is almost time to put these black areas in, which will not be the end of the story. This is a Conte crayon. It was created in a kiln, and it's basically made out of ceramic pottery. When you draw with it, you get a nice firm line, which can also be blended. Van Gogh did not like Conte crayons because he said they were unyielding. Here we go. Let's go in with the black. The ear is right up near top of the head. Around like this. This. Let's look at those eyes. They're very, very arresting, aren't they? Make that ear a little bigger. Get down to the eyes. Put the sparkle in the eye to make sure that our animal looks lively and not like a stuffed animal that you would find at a taxidermist. Here we go. Now we're moving in with more black down here. How are we doing? Always a good idea to stop and take a look. It's okay to draw from your mind, but when you're trying to draw something very accurately, nothing can really replace photo reference. Oops. Putting the fingers in, they are a little wobbly. It's hard to draw this way. Let's switch hands and see what we find. Now, if you're having trouble and you're struggling with drawing, there are a lot of things that you can do that are different. One of the things that you can do is to switch hands and see how you do with your opposing hand. This is my right hand. I'm typically a left-handed person. Another thing you can do is actually change how you hold your material. You can hold it like this in your fist. And that's not so good for me, but that could be good for you. Let's go back to that straight up right hand. And here's another trick that I've learned. When you want to draw very steadily, it's okay to use two hands. Use one hand to hold your wrist so that you can guide it. Use the other hand to actually draw with. And I'm going to do that here because this is a lot of detail. And it's sort of an awkward position for me. So we got the beginning of the hands there. Let's put in the nose. Nose is very elaborate. There's a lot going on in this area. Those very arresting eyes. Coming around here. This is called the zygomatic arch. This area of the skull. Everybody that's a vertebrate has them. The zygomatic arch is the top of the jawbone and also holds the orbit or the eye socket. Looks like we can go in nice and loose here and free. It's a good start. A long way to go. It's a good start. Always stop and take a good look at what you're doing and ask yourself, how is it going? Is it starting to look like I want it to look like? If your answer is no, then you can start over. Sometimes over the exact same image you're working on, you can start over. All right. Coming around the bottom of the mouth here. So you can see we're doing a lot of work with the black Conti crayon. That is because this is an animal that has a lot of black in his coat. But we're not going to settle for that. We're going to add some colors in a minute. Add a little more black over here. Notice how I'm following the shape of the animal as I draw. I'm not drawing this straight up and down like this because that doesn't actually delineate what the animal looks like. Doing it with a curved line makes it a lot easier and makes it look better. All right, are you restless for color? Let's get these fingers done and then we'll hit the color. Okay, so in drawing and also in painting, but mainly in drawing, you never want to stick with just a photographic flat black and white when you have the opportunity to use a color also. We're going to come with a lighter color first, and then we're going to hit it with a darker color. So let's go back to those fingers. We know the fingers are going to all be this color, so we can go ahead and put that in. Always be very careful when you're using your pastels or your Conti to wipe the tip off on something like your hand or your pants, so you don't accidentally bring color into an area that you don't want it to be. You can see how the added color kind of smudges those areas, which is something that we can use. We can exploit that. Now, what's a good color to go with peach and black and white? This color, this peach color, is a mixture of red and yellow. The color that is complementary to red and yellow is going to be blue. That's the remaining primary. So let's get out a blue and give it a quick once over with the blue. Here we go. And I can see that I've chosen green on the original picture. Now, just for a change up, we'll go with blue. And there's a lot of green in here. Alright, now seems like a good time to go over this and rub it. When we rub pastels and we rub Conte crayons, they blend to give an almost watercolor effect. Make sure your hands are clean before you hit it. And once you've used one color area, wipe your hands and use another color area. Unless you want to blend the colors together, which is reasonable. That's something you can do. See, by blending with our finger, we avoid having to just continually scrub, scrub, scrub. Scrubbing is almost never a good idea in this kind of picture. Scrubbing is also not a good thing to do with your brushes when you use brushes, because it'll mash the hairs in the brush and ruin the brush. What we're seeing move around a lot here is the pastel. The Conte is pretty unyielding. It's staying very firm, and that's one reason why I like to mix Conte crayons with my pastels. Conte crayons are spelled C-O-N-T-E crayons, C-O-N-T-E. Now, if you're in a hurry and you just want to grab something and jot something down real quick, nothing wrong with wax crayons. Those are very good. You notice I try to move my right hand around as much as my left. My grandfather was a great artist, and he told me to always make sure that you can use both hands, because you never know what's going to happen in life. I've had several surgeries in my hands, so I've learned to go both ways. There's that nose. There we go. Now, I think this picture is crying out for more black. That's what I think. I think we're very close, but we need to really get the black. The thing about black here, it's not only an outline, it's also a shading tool. Put in the hair here. Ordinarily, we don't want a shaggy line like this, but this is a time when we want to use that kind of line. Now, as you're working with this kind of material, Contes and pastels, when you use them over and over like this, you can sort of sculpt a fine tip onto the end when you're doing this kind of thing. And then when you have that sharp tip, you can go in and actually draw real nice outlines. Putting some black in. And let's hit that nose with a little more black. Noses are very important. They help you find things to eat, and they help you make noises to talk to your fellow animals with. The nose is very, very helpful. See how we're sculpting? We're sculpting the picture of the chimpanzee right out of the paper. Now, when you're dealing with an animal that's basically pretty black and white, you can put all kinds of liveries into that. You can add color, you can add a shadow or a background. A lot of things you can do. I think it's always helpful to include a background when you can, because it helps show where your animal is in space. Not just floating in space, but actually grounded. Yeah. Notice that I'm really jumping around the page. That way I can make sure everything is proportioned equally the way it should be. We're getting it. I'm definitely getting it. We're polishing this up to have a very nice sharp tip. We can really work on the details. Hands are a little small, but I think they'll do. Alright. Looks like we used a little green, so let's work a little green into this. How about this color? Looks like more of a mint green. Let's get a mint green. I think the mint green is a good choice because this is an animal that really wants to be in the trees. You want to make sure that he has the option to be in the trees. sculpt it. Work it around here. I'm going to wipe the tip off. You see it's very nasty. Wipe it on my hands. Wipe them on my pants. That's what I wear art clothes for, is to be able to wipe and spill. So we're going to polish this up a little bit. We get that nice sharp point now. So we can really go in and hit it hard. Now, chimpanzee faces are very much like human faces. You can find a lot of variety in chimpanzees. So this one looks like the chimpanzee that I drew on this page. But I have drawn chimpanzees on other pages where their faces were very different. Different expressions and different kinds of eyes and foreheads, much like people. Could you pick this chimpanzee out of a lineup, police lineup? If your answer is no, then you need to look up more pictures of chimpanzees. Almost done. There's that sharp edge that I built up. I'm using it to fill in where the color is. Of course, this chimpanzee isn't actually blue and green and peach colored. All right. Here's another great thing about Concha Crowd. When you find something that doesn't look right, you can pretty much work it out on the page. That's very dark. Make it more dark so it'll match. We want to keep in mind what the anatomy is doing, how and why. In this case, find that the arms need to be wider so that the hand has something to rest on. Now, we're very close to the end, so what we're going to do is go back and put in some highlights. We're going to use a white Conti crayon, which you can see is dirty. So I wipe it off on my leg, like that, and now you can see it's a pure white. Let's work with it. Highlight these eyes a little bit. Eyes are very important. And down through here, we're going to fill this in with the white. There we go. Notice that the white doesn't go very nicely over the dark for the most part. The white is for highlighting. It's not really a drawing tool here. More of a, almost like a painting tool. See it lifting the color a little bit, just a little bit. And we don't want to get real involved with the white because we can go too far and overdraw something. Same reason we stay away from the eraser and the pencil. Now, when you're doing design, commercial design, drafting, those are places where a pencil with the eraser is welcome. But in this kind of situation, you really don't need an eraser. Anything that you find that you feel like is a mistake, you can go over pretty easily. Wipe off our white Conti crayon. Take a look at this. All right. Pointed, pointed, curve, curve. All right. So there you have it. Chimpanzee. Drawing of a chimpanzee. This has been Anna Troglin. I hope you have a great day.